were on hands-on algebra. Today we will be doing the subject of negative integers. And let us begin by explaining what materials we will be using. I will be using green plugs and red plugs. You can, at home, if you don't have green and red counters, green and red plugs, you can make your own tokens and color them with a green sketch pen and a red sketch pen, and use those for solving the problems that we will be posing in these sessions. I repeat what I have said earlier in the other sessions, that Janaganit Math is not a program of online lectures. What I have said, you cannot learn mathematics by listening of online lectures. Mathematics can be learnt best by solving problems. And in all the Janaganit sessions, we will be solving problems using a variety of materials. And then we will be translating what we understand to writing it in symbols and numerals. So let me begin by explaining the language of the session today. This green plug represents 1 rupee if I am in India. But I know there are people participating all over the world. So this green plug may also represent 1 rial or 1 rand or 1 ruble or 1 yuan. Friend. So now, do I have 1 rupee in my? Yes, but I also have a loan which is represented by this red plug. This red plug means I have to pay 1 rupee to my friend. And if I have 1 rupee in my account and a loan of 1 rupee which I have to pay, in fact, I still have 0 net worth in this account. I started out with 0. I took a loan, but since I have to repay the loan, my net worth is still 0. So I call this loan as -1. I call this rupee as +1. This is the language that we will be using in this session. Now let me begin with a problem. Gyan Jyoti, how much money is there in my account now?
3 rupees.
3 rupees. Very good. My next question is to Nandita. Nandita, what do I have in my account?
A loan of 2 rupees.
A loan of 2 rupees. So now shall we use the language of positive and negative? I'll repeat the question. Gyanjyoti, what is there in my account?
3 rupees.
You have to use the language of positive and negative.
Plus 3.
Not, we will say positive 3. Okay, plus 3 also we will use later. But right now, this is positive 3. And Nandita, what is this?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Okay. Now let me ask the next question to Nandita. I have this in my account.
Zero.
So my account is worth 0 because I have to repay both these loans. When I repay the loans, I have nothing. Very good. Gyanjyoti, I have this in my account. What is, how much am I worth?
1 rupees.
1 rupee, positive 1.
Yes.
Okay? Because when I repay this loan, this is worth how much?
2 rupees.
This. A loan of 1 rupee and 1 rupee. This is
Three.
worth? You said 1 rupee. How much is this? How much is this now?
1.
1 rupee. So if this is 1 rupee, and if this is worth 1 rupee, then this must be?
2.
If this is 2 and this is 1,
0.
let's come again. Okay? So this is 1 and this is
0.
0. Because I have a loan of 1 rupee which I have to repay. And when I repay it, then what I am left with is just 1 rupee. So a loan and positive 1 means 0. That's what we have learned from this example. So now are you ready to solve problems? But before we start solving problems, let me show you how to write. So this here, which I've written as positive 1, means this. And I write negative 1. I write negative 1, which means just this. Okay? So now I'm going to give problems. I'm going to write problems, and you have to make those in your account. Nandita, you have to make this in your account. And what is the value of your account?
1.
1.
Positive 1.
Positive 1. Okay. Why is it positive 1?
Because I have a loan of 1 rupee and 2 rupees in my account. If I
Right.
repay the loan, I will be left with 1 rupee.
Can you put your loan and your positive 1 together in your account? So just lift that. What you just made, lift that. Okay, so what do you have now in your account?
1 rupee.
1 rupee. Okay, now the next question is to Gyan Jyoti. I'm going to write it here. Make this in your account. And can you tell us what is the value of your account?
0.
0. Why is it 0?
Because of plus and minus is equal to minus. 2 minus 2 is equal to 0.
Okay, that's one way of looking at it. Can you tell me that in known language? You have how much money in your account?
2 rupees.
Plus 2. And you also, how much loan do you have?
Minus 2.
That means you have a loan of 2 rupees, right? So when you repay the loans, just repay the loans. So you have repaid the loans, and now how much do you have in your account?
0.
0. Because a loan of 1 rupee, which is repaid with 1 rupee, when you do that, you have no money, that is 0, right? So now how many zeros do you have in your account? Look at your account and tell me how many zeros do you have?
4.
How many zeros? Show me 1 0, hold it up in your hand. That is not 0, that is 1. Hold that. What is that?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. That is also not 0. I want you to hold up a 0. Something which is worth 0. Just hold it up in your hand. Think about it. You have made those two, one green and one red, right? Hold that in your hand. Hold it up. Is it plus 1? Yes?
Yes.
Is it minus 1?
Yes.
Can it be both plus 1 and minus 1?
0.
So is it plus 1?
No.
Is it minus 1?
No.
So what is it?
0.
So what you have in your hand is
0.
0. Okay. So keep it back. And remember my question to you. I'll repeat the question. How many zeros do you have in your account now?
2.
2 zeros, right? Yeah. You have made 2 zeros, but 2 zeros, the value of 2 zeros is still the value of 1 zero is 0. The value of 2 zeros is?
2 0.
Is it different? If you have no money and I give you no money, how much money do you have?
0.
Which is
0.
0, right? So the value of 2 zeros is
0.
0. Okay, that's what we have learned from this discussion. So Nandita, now the problem to you is make an account. Into your account, can you put 6 plugs, but the value of your account has to be 0. So do you have 6 plugs?
Yes.
Okay. We'll repeat that. We'll repeat that. Give her the plugs. Okay, I'll repeat that. So Nandita, can you put 6 plugs in your account and still have 0?
Yes.
Show me what you've made. Right. And how many zeros do you have in your account now?
3.
3 zeros. But you have 6 plugs. And each zero is made up of 2 plugs, plus, rather, positive 1 and negative 1. So what we have discussed here is that positive 1 and negative 1 is 0, because when I repay the loan, I have no money. Now let us go to the next problem. Nandita, you put 3 green plugs and 2 red plugs in your account. And Gyan Jyoti, in your account, you put 2 green plugs. Keep all the plugs separate. And now my question to you, Gyan Jyoti, is, look at Nandita's account and look at your account. And my question is, who has more money?
Nandita.
Nandita has more money. What is the value of Nandita's account?
1.
And what is the value of your account?
2.
So Nandita has how many rupees?
1 rupees.
And how much do you have?
2 rupees.
So who has more money?
Nandita.
Nandita has 1 rupee. And you have 2 rupees. So who has more money?
Me.
Supposing you have to choose between 2 accounts, between Nandita's account and your account, which one will you choose?
Mine.
Okay, let's do one more example. Clear your accounts, make your account 0. Now you take 2 red plugs. Gyan Jyoti, Nandita, you don't do it. Gyan Jyoti, you take 2 red plugs and 4 green plugs. And Nandita, you take 3 green plugs. Now, Gyan Jyoti, how much money do you have in your account?
2 rupees.
2 rupees. And how much money does Nandita have in her account?
3 rupees.
3 rupees. So, who has more money?
Nandita.
Nandita. Okay. Though you have 6 plugs in your account, and Nandita has only 3 plugs in her account, but you have only 2 rupees, whereas Nandita has 3 rupees. So who has more?
Nandita.
Nandita. So now we understand what is more and what is less. And let us do one last example to understand what is more and what is less. Nandita, you take 2 green plugs. And Jyoti, you take 2 red plugs. Who has more?
Nandita.
Nandita. Okay. I'll continue now. Nandita, you take just 1 green plug. And you still have 2 red plugs. So who has more money?
Me.
You have more money. Okay. Now I will give you 2 rupees. Okay. And I will give Nandita also 2 rupees. So take your 2 rupees, put it into your account, and give this to Nandita and put it into her account. Now what is the value of your account, Jyoti?
0.
It is 0. And what is the value of Nandita's account?
3 rupees.
3 rupees. So which one will you choose?
Nandita.
Nandita's account. Okay. Now I will take 1 rupee from you and 1 rupee from Nandita. Okay. I have taken the same amount of money from each of you. How much money does Nandita have now?
2 rupees.
How much money do you have? You can tell me in terms of loan, and
1 rupees loan.
you have a 1 rupee loan, right? So supposing we use the language of positive and negative, how much does Nandita have?
2 positives.
Positive 2. And how much do you have?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. So which is more?
Nandita.
Nandita's. Now I will take 1 rupee from each of you. So take 1 rupee from Nandita and 1 rupee from you. And what do I have left? What does Nandita have left with?
1 rupees.
1 rupee. And what do you have?
2 rupees loan.
2 rupees loan. So now who has more?
Nandita.
Nandita. Okay. She still has more. So what we saw earlier, you may have more plugs, but you may have less money. So here Nandita has 1 rupee, positive 1, and you have now negative 2. Okay? All right. Now let's do one more example. Nandita, you take negative 1. And Jyoti, you take positive 1 and negative 1. What is the value of your account, Jyoti?
0.
0. And what is the value of your account?
Negative 1.
Negative 1. Who has more?
Jyoti.
Jyoti. Okay, Jyoti, now I give you negative 1, and I also give Nandita negative 1. Just recall, keep it in your hand, what I've given you. How much is your account worth now?
1 negative.
And
0.
what is the total worth of your account?
1 negative and 2, sorry, 1 positive and 2 negative.
No, that is in your hand. That is in your hand. Just keep it aside. Now look at your account. What do you have in your account?
1 positive and 1 negative.
What is the value?
0.
0. Okay. In Nandita's account, what does she have?
1 negative.
1 negative. Who has more?
Me.
You have more. Because she has 1 negative. You have 1 negative and a positive. So you have more. Right? Now, if I give you each 1 negative, who has more?
Nandita.
Earlier, who had more?
Me.
And both of you have taken 1 negative. So now who has more?
Me.
You still have more. What is your value now?
2 negative and 1 positive.
Which is? Combine 1 negative and 1 positive. How much is that?
0.
0. So what is your value?
1 negative.
1 negative. And Nandita has
2 negative.
2 negatives. So who has more?
Nandita.
Earlier you said you had more. Recall, earlier you said you had more. I gave both of you the same thing. I gave you 1 negative, I gave her 1 negative. Let's do it again. Take away your negative, each of you. Look at your account. What is the value of your account, Gyan Jyoti?
0.
And what is the account of Nandita?
1 negative.
1 negative. Who has more?
Me.
You have more. I give you now, hold that in your hand. I give you 1 rupee and I give Nandita 1 rupee. Now who has more?
Me.
You still have more. What is your value?
2 positive and 1 negative.
Which is? Combine 1 negative and 1 positive. How much is that?
0.
So what is the value of your account?
1 positive.
1 positive. Okay. Let's do a few examples so that we are very thorough about this. Keep 3 green plugs and 1 red plug. I'm making it here 3 green plugs and 1 red plug. So how many positives is this? Gyan Jyoti?
3 positives.
How many negatives is there in my account?
1 negative.
1 negative. What is the value of my account?
2 positive.
2 positive, right? Because I combine this and the value is,
2 positive.
this is a 0, the value is 2 positive. I'm going to give another problem. Can you tell me now what is the value of my account?
0.
0. Okay, I'm giving another problem. What is the value of my account?
1 positive.
And
3 negative.
so what is the value?
2 negative.
2 negatives. Okay. So the value of this is 0. What remains is 2 negatives. Now let me give one more problem. What is the value of this account?
2 positive and 4 negative.
Yes. And now let me combine them.
2 negatives.
So it is 2 negatives. So now just by looking, you'll have to tell me the value of the account. Okay, just by looking at the account. I'm not going to put them together. Are you ready?
One negative.
1 negative. Very good. Now,
One positive.
1 positive. Okay, so we have learnt how to keep the accounts. 1 positive and 1 negative cancel to give you 0. This positive, this negative cancel to give you 0. This positive, this negative cancel to give you 0. And all that I'm left with is 1 positive. These 3 zeros are just zeros. 1 0 or 2 zeros or 3 zeros, their value is still 0. So the value of my account is 1 positive. Having learned this, now let us go forward.